Thank you very much, Mr. Board President and the trustees. I wanted to congratulate Mr. Nelson real fast. My wife Susan worked at Powers while he was a vice principal, and let me tell you, all the teachers love that man, and he's going to lead the district to great heights. I agree with everything you said early on about the LGBT community. The Superintendent Nelson needs to be inclusive. Everybody needs to be safe. All kids need to be safe. I absolutely believe we're all one people under God. Whether you're heterosexual, homosexual, transgender, white, black, Asian, Hispanic, we're all one people under God and under the law. And there never should be any discrimination, any harassment for anybody. But I also believe that we are in a cultural war for the hearts and minds of our children. We are now a society of relativism. No longer is there right, wrong, good, bad, healthy, unhealthy, anything goes. Whether it's promoting the legalization of drugs, minimizing the consequences of abortion, weakening our criminal laws through Prop 47 and 57, or promoting the sexual agenda or a lifestyle to our children. Two recent examples of that: Rockland, California. We have a 6-year-old boy in a kindergarten class who leaves the class, comes back in dressed as a girl because he believes he's transgender. And then the teacher reads a story about transgender. And of course, kids go home, complain to their parents, and they're frightened that they're going to be switching. Now, the law says that you want to give age-appropriate curriculum. I would question whether that's age-appropriate curriculum for a kindergarten class. In Teen Vogue magazine, a magazine that are read by 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds, and 15-year-olds, the latest edition is a guide to anal sex for teenagers. This is to promote so they don't get pregnant. It's right here. I didn't make it up. It's shocking, and it exists. That's what's being promoted to our children. You can look it up in Teen Vogue magazine. It is the parents' responsibility to teach and educate their children regarding sex, gender values, healthy behavior, and morals.
Thank you, Mr. Brookfield.
Mr. President, members of the board, Superintendent Nelson, I like what you said about a safe place. Cornerstone Church, where I pastor, was one of the very first safe places some 2 decades ago when that whole thing started, to provide a safe place. I think schools need to be a safe place for everybody that's involved. I think schools also need to be a safe place for parents. Parents are the ones then that are sending their children. You're doing a great job educating, and I appreciate the great work that you do and the civic work that you do serving on these boards. I have educators that are in my family. But in that, as you provide safe places, as you've done tonight, in providing safe environments and able to get there, parents need to know that when they get there, that their rights and their values are not being undermined. All of us know the statistics that the family unit, as that is strengthened, our society is strengthened. Our education for our children is strengthened when they come from a strong family unit. When those values are undermined, when they're put in conflict, then that is where parents, I think, are concerned. So my appeal to you today from a member of the public is that you would not only make it a safe place for kids, for all children, but you make it a safe place also for parents, that they can have that trust and have that security, that when their children are being sent there, they're being educated, reading, writing, arithmetic, but that their values are not being compromised or even being challenged, because that's something that families do, keeping that family unit strong. Thank you, Mr. President, for your leadership in parental rights and what we have seen. And thank you again for your service.
Mrs. Francine Farber, followed by Don Levitt.
I believe they're out in the hallway.
Okay. Is Mr. Levitt here? Mr. Donald Levitt? Mr. Farber, followed by Mr. Levitt.
Good evening, Board and Superintendent. I'll save a little time by just saying that. Mary Farber and I are here this evening because every school year is special to us, but this one is very special because for the first time at the end of this school year, we're going to have some students from various Fresno high schools who are going to receive a Steve Scholarship. And we have been waiting almost 6 years for this to happen, and we're grateful that we're alive and well to see this day. And we wanted to tell you that when this cohort group left Tehipity, there were 58 students going into 9th grade in various high schools here who qualified as Steve Scholars. 20% of that group has moved out of the district, and that's a very very big surprise to us as far as the trenchant quality of the district. We knew it was great, but we didn't know it was that high. So there are about 46 students left from that first group that went into high school, and of that group, about 50% right now qualify to get a scholarship at the end of this school year. We have hopes for more, but really that's 50% of 46, so it should be about 23 or 25 students, and we're really thrilled that that's going to happen. We're going to have some special things going on this year because it will be the very first year, and the students are all over the district now, and rather than all being in one place at Tehipity, although we have more cohorts there, but right now there are students in grades 7 through 12, probably close to 200 of them, who are on track in some way to be Steve Scholars, so we're really excited about that. But we're going to have special things happening, and one of them is going to be an opportunity for the students who get the first Steve Scholars Scholarship to come together with their families for a dinner at Tehipity, where they all started. And we hope to invite all of you. We will invite all of you, and we hope that you'll all be able to come. And on September 15th, we're going to kick off this year's Steve Scholars cohort at Tehipity, so you're all invited then too. Thank you.
Thank you, trustees. In 2018, Steve Scholars will award 25 scholarships, and every year after that, that number will double, hopefully in perpetuity. The success of the scholarship program really depends on the cooperation of the educators. And at Tehipity Middle School, we've been blessed with two wonderful principals, Yvonne Zeisling and Dave Peters. And in addition, from other parts of the district, we owe thanks to Michael Allen, Ann Batard, Anita Hernandez, and Brian Wall. All too often, there are letters to the editor of the Bee and callers to talk shows who criticize teachers and administrators. If these critics would spend a day visiting or assisting at a school and watching classes in action as we have been privileged, their attitudes would change. Thank you.
Mr. Bruce Jarvis.
Good evening. What I have to say is in defense of Brooke Ashjian's recent remarks. Jonathan Rauch, a Yale graduate, a writer, and a political intellectual, writes in the summer 2017 issue of National Affairs, quote, "I am gay and an atheist, and I disagree with most of what religious conservatives have had to say about gay equality and same-sex marriage. But my respect for the First Amendment's unique protectiveness of religion, and also for the unique social centrality and sensitivity of religion, strongly inclines me to find ways to allow religion to go on about its business whenever possible." Continuing, "I also accept that human sexuality is part and parcel of the theologies of many religions, and to avoid subjecting religious individuals and faiths to public inquisitions, I believe we should generally treat religious objections as sincere and genuine, at least as far as law and public policy are concerned. This means that gays must understand that religion's opposition of homosexuality arises out of their free exercise of religious liberty. Hatred towards gays may sometimes be the effect of their religious expressions. It is these negative effects that the gay rights movement must weed out. But religion's core belief of anti-LGBT is a legitimate religious liberty, according to Jonathan Rauch. So proponents of gay rights must be able to distinguish between what is a legitimate expression of religion's defense of heterosexual rights and what is not a legitimate expression in order to avoid iconoclastic attacks.
Thank you, Mr. Evans.
I'd like to submit these remarks.
Ms. Jarvis, followed by Abel Gutierrez.
Good evening. My name is Chris Jarvis. I'm president of Gay Central Valley. We operate the Fresno LGBT Community Center. Gender identity and orientation identity has been decided. There is no question. If you are questioning why someone is LGBT, then you are not educated. It's not a belief issue, it's a fact issue. We are no different than anyone else. We know who we are the same way that you know who you are. We are not swayed by words. We are not altered by suggestion. We are who we are innately. According to Mr. Ashjian, talking about LGBT people can turn kids gay. Mr. Ashjian's comments belong in the shadows, not in the light. Allowing him to remain in his position is not only reflective of him, but is reflective of this board. Education is never a bad thing. Education is never something to be held back because information may change someone's mind. Every respected scientific study finds that sex education reduces teen pregnancy, reduces STDs, and reduces abortions. Education on LGBT issues has zero influence on who we are.